As far as I know, May 7th is, are you? We're in, we're expanding. We're in the upper deck. Wow. Have you ever been in a church that had a balcony? Oh man, isn't that the greatest place to be? Because you can goof off up there and nobody knows. It's great. It's great to be here. So good to see you. Let me see. Some of you I've missed. Bill and Mary. Joe. I'm sorry? The rib book? You got it? You got it. Okay. Here's one for Beth, and here's one for Rich. I think everybody's got it. If not, everybody. If you, it's suitable for framing or for wrapping fish. So it's out. It's available on Amazon, both in digital and the traditional paper form. If you like to. Was anybody surprised this week? We got surprised. Any big surprises this week? There were lots of surprises in the news. There were lots of surprises. You know, I saw this. This was a surprise. Anybody want to, be tooling down Winter Haven in this vehicle? You would get some looks at least, wouldn't you? Or then there is this other one was a surprise. We're familiar with the three, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Well, it's been changed to include see, no hearing, no speaking, and no texting of evil. So, things are changing, things are evolving. And today, gentlemen, start your engines, right, Rich? Today is the Daytona 500, so it'll be a surprise if no one has a wreck, right? I mean, it's a left turn followed by another left turn. There's not a lot of surprises in the going there. And then this week up in the Midwest, I don't know if you saw this, there was another surprise, another 100-car pileup in the snow. Did anybody send texts or call to say, oh, it's only 86 here and I turned on the air conditioning? That was a surprise. Now, here is a thing. Yes?
Where was that?
Illinois. Or Indiana, one of those I states out there somewhere in the north thing kind of going on. But there was another big surprise. I know everybody's sitting down, right? Dan, your heart condition's okay? So far. Okay, hold on to your wagon wheels, ladies and gentlemen, because there was immense fraud. They've caught some immense fraud on coronavirus spending. What a surprise. There were these trillions of dollars, and guess what? It didn't all go where it was supposed to. Shocking. Shocking. And then one more surprise came out, more fraud. If you get a call or a text or an email saying COVID-19 anything, delete. Delete, don't respond, don't click on it because there's a lot of fraud going on saying you need masks, you need COVID-19 tests. There's scams, there's a lot of that going on. And now here's another surprise that I know none of you have experienced. You're going to say, oh no, I have not seen that at all, is that food prices. They're just sort of going along, right? You haven't seen any changes. Well, I'm not so sure about that. Food prices are going where? Up. There's no question, any doubt, anybody say, oh, no, they're going up. There's all these surprises because we just think life's going along and it goes a certain way. We have friends. And the wife and the family grew up in very, very, very meager means. They were dirt poor. She calls herself a dirt farmer. That's her family. And they came here from Georgia. And when they came here, they started to try to make a new life. And they would go on vacations. And their vacations were surprises. And here was a surprise. She told a true story that they went up to St. Augustine and they went to this place, remember, Ripley's Believe It or Not. But they never went in. They were so poor that they couldn't pay the admission price. So you know what they did for their vacation? They stood in front of places and took pictures of themselves. That she remembers bringing home a boy on a date to have dinner at home. And her mother pulled out all of the stops. She made chicken feet. That was the big meal. Chicken feet. Not legs, not wings, not even the neck, the feet. Their life was on the edge. Everything was a surprise because they had no margin. And you have surprises too. Maybe you've experienced this one. You've had people come to visit you and they want to go to Disney, right? Right? Surprise, surprise. Has this ever happened to you? You, ahead of time, go online and you buy the tickets, right? You buy the passes. And you go online or you call up and you wait for 4 hours and 37 minutes in order to make a dinner reservation, right? And then you go online or you use their new system, which everybody hates, by the way, the Genie Plus or Lightning Lanes. You got to pay for the fast passes now. You go online, you get that all arranged, the day is all organized. You drive up to the front door and they turn to you and say, "Oh, this is enough. I don't want to go in. I just go to the front door. Stop." Wouldn't that be a surprise? We used to live in Arizona, and we would take people it was a 3.5 hour drive to the Grand Canyon. And you come up to the front of it after 3.5, and it's not an easy drive. It's all uphill. And you're going up, and it's so high that the saguaro cactus can't even survive. And you're just going up, and you come to the front gate, and they say, "Nah, that's enough." How would you react? You'd be mad, you'd be angry, maybe even a few other words that are a little more excitable come to mind. Why did I go to all this trouble? Have you ever said that to anybody? Have you ever turned to them and said, "You know what? I went to all this trouble." When I think it was about 10 or 11, my mother invited my friends and my cousins over, and they locked us away in the back bedroom. Okay, you would get, and there was no TV, there was no radio. We were locked in this back, today that is what? Child abuse, right? Well, eventually they let us out, and it was a surprise birthday party for me. And you think, wow, this is nice, right? But you got to remember, my mom, who I love dearly, if it said to cook something for 10 minutes, she did it 30. And she baked a cake from scratch. Very nice of her to do that. And how long do you bake a cake? 40 minutes, maybe. She baked it an hour and a half. And cakes come out, what? Golden brown? It was black. It was like Mary's sweater. Okay, and it had this black homemade carbon crust on the outside, which she then smeared all of this vanilla icing. It didn't make a dent. She put sprinkles on it, and there were candles, and we drank so much milk just to get it down. It was a surprise. Sometimes not a good, surprises aren't all that good, are they? How do you think God felt after taking the nation of Israel for 40 years through a desert. 40 years of providing food for them. 40 years of putting up with their guff. Do you know what that means, putting up with their guff? What's that mean? Complaining. Their mouth. Oh, I like that. And they get to the front gate. They get to the doorway. They get to the entranceway. And what happens? They have spent all of this time wandering. Their GPS wasn't working. They're wandering through the desert for 40 years. If I get lost and I'm wandering for 4 minutes, I blow a gasket. 40 years. What's the longest period of time that you've been lost? 2.5 hours. How'd you feel about that? You got out eventually. I decided one time, I was going to take Mary Ann on a date to, we lived in Baltimore, and the National Zoo is outside of Washington, D.C. This is before phones. This is, before electricity, and so I decided I was going to figure out how to get there without a map. Have you ever tried to do that? I was like, well, it feels like it ought to be over here. I was wandering through the deserts of Washington, D.C. I eventually stumbled over it, I should say. I didn't find it. But they're going through, and the surprise is, guess what? Not everybody wants to go in. Not everybody wants to go in. The Reubenites and the Gadites who had, what are they like? What's their position? They got what?
Very large herds and flocks.
They got large herds and flocks, which means what? Yeah, they're doing okay. They're not concerned about, whether the Medicare deduction is going to go up or not. They're not concerned about that. They've got life pretty well wired financially. They don't just have flocks and herds. What do they got? Large.
Very large.
And where they're at is good for their flocks. So what are they thinking? Stay here. Yeah, doesn't that make sense? I mean, after all, I drive from my house to Walmart to get one of these. And there is a spot, and whenever I go, I always order ahead of time because I don't want to stand in line. I'm that kind of person, okay? You can walk out and leave now, and, we're still friends. But I have the app on my phone, so I get on it, and I'm driving along, and I'm ordering. But at the top of a hill, there's a really weak signal. It's like, I don't want to stay here because if I stay here, my order will never go through. I got to get moving. It's like, okay, it's good, get moving. But they don't. They stay. They stick. And they come to God. They come to Moses with this request. They say, if we have found favor in your eyes, then what? Hey, this land, right where we're standing, right here, right now, is good enough. It's good enough. It's like you all had good and plenty. This is good enough. This is good enough. So, and now they say, it isn't that we don't want to go. It's don't make us. Have you ever said to somebody, don't make me do this? I'm sorry? No mandates. Don't make me do this. Don't force me. Don't make us cross the Jordan. Because right where we're at it's a good thing, right? Right here. Why go any further? Why go any closer? Right where we're at is good. And then, so Moses turns around, and how do you think he's feeling when he hears this request? Do you think he's a happy guy? You think he just is a guy that goes with the flow kind of thing? Oh, if that's what you want, that's okay with us. Is that what he said? What did he say? He says, should your fellow Israelites go to war while what? You sit here. They're taking the easy way out, the comfortable way. You know, I always liked flying first class. Don't ask me why. It had nothing to do with the seats were 50% bigger. It had nothing to do that I had more leg room. It had nothing to do with the fact that if I raised my hand, there was a very attentive person who said, your every wish is my command. Right? These are back in the days when you had to flap your arms to help fly. But right where I was, I didn't want to move. I didn't want to move. Right where I'm at. It's good enough. It's more than good enough. It's great. Why leave the good for the unknown? Have you ever felt that way? Right where I'm at is okay. If I move, what happens? It's going to change. Risk. Somebody takes your spot. The unknown. Because what do you know? You know where you're at. But down the road, you don't know. It's comfortable. They're saying, we're comfortable right here. You know, let's be here. And Moses' reaction is, while you sit here on your lazy boys, recliners, with the heater that vibrates and has a little cup holder and that charges your phone. Why? And he goes on, it says, why do you discourage? One of the awful words of the English language. Why do you discourage? What does it mean to discourage? To downplay? What else does discourage mean?
Try to make them change their mind.
Make them change their mind. Stop them from doing. Stop them from moving forward. Discourage. To stop. To hinder. How about this one? To frustrate. Now, nobody here has probably been discouraged. But think about somebody else who you've happened to have seen, and they were discouraged. What were they like? Crabby. Are they the kind of people you want to be around? Are those the people you'll say, oh, you're so discouraged. You make me feel so good. Right? Are those the kind of people you would hire to work with you, for you? No. And Moses is saying, you're not just doing this to yourself. Moses is telling the great American lie. The great American lie is what you do doesn't impact anybody. You are an individual. So what you do is your business, right? If it's you and a consenting adult, nobody else is hurt. You take drugs in your home or while you're driving, that's okay. It's only you. Moses is saying, you're discouraged, you do this, you impact other people. And he's saying, you're doing this to the nation. And then he says, he goes on to talk about some people who are different than they. He says, here's why you are discouraging people. Here's your root problem. because you have not followed me, the Lord, wholeheartedly. What does it mean to be wholehearted about something? All in. What else? No matter what. Wholeheartedly. It consumes you. Every waking moment, you're there, you're all in. You haven't served the Lord wholeheartedly. And that's why they now are backing out. To be wholeheartedly means to be full of it, to be full of the idea, to be full of energy, to be full of moving towards and with. Wholeheartedly means with every fiber of my being. It says, you're not doing that. And then he says, but by the way, there are a couple of guys who did that. And he points to Caleb and Joshua. Caleb and Joshua were exceptional people. They were except kind of guys. Everybody else is over here, and they say, nah, we're not going that way. We're going to be with God, and that's enough. Have you ever heard the expression, God plus you makes a majority? If you haven't heard that one, memorize it. No matter where you are, God plus you is a majority. It doesn't matter how many people follow you on Facebook. It doesn't matter how many likes you get. It doesn't matter how many people, share your stuff. You plus God is a majority. Only 2 guys out of 12. Is that a big percentage? No, not a majority. It's not a majority rule. How many of you know an accept kind of person? An accept kind of person says, the world might be going this way, popularity might be going this way, but this person stands with God alone. They are exceptional. They separate themselves. They are accept them. They say, we don't care. Everything around us says what? Don't buck the trend. Go with the flow. Yes? And that has been a great debate. That has been a great dividing point. Within families, for sure, within companies, within countries.
I think
It still is. I mean, if the news is all about the division, right? Now, I don't know what side of the equation you are on, what you think is right. I want to tell you that no matter what you believe about that, you're loved and accepted. But what we're talking about here is serving God wholeheartedly. You see, we can disagree about shots. I really do believe we can. I can treat you with kindness and respect and honor you, as we would say in Baltimore, irregardlessly, which is a double, triple negative. Okay? That I have a friend who is single, and when they are maybe thinking about going on a date, they say, do you like dairy products? And if they say no, you're not one of them. Moving on. Okay, that's their decision. We can love one another we can honor one another because of who Christ is. You are made in the image of God. That other person that does and says the things that just make your skin crawl is a person for whom Christ died and rose again. I'm here to tell you with all the honesty that I can muster that if you saw the 18-year-old version of me, you'd run. You wouldn't walk, you'd run. Arrogant, pain in the neck or lower. Just really angry, bitter. But what did God do? He saved me and he changed me. And I'm still changing. I'm not a done work. I'm not a done deal. And neither are you. And neither are the other people around us. So let us love one another with grace. And Moses actually does that. He says, we think you're wrong, but he gives them a gracious way out. He says, if you will do this, if you will arm yourselves and fight, you, the fighting guys, come along with us, your family and cattle can stay, then there's a way forward. He is giving them a gracious way to stay part of the nation and yet to honor God and to fulfill the needs of the entire community. This is a master stroke. He says, arm yourselves. But how arm yourselves? Before the Lord. So no matter who that person is and no matter what they think or say, if I arm myself with God, I don't have to be afraid of them. I can go, I can love on them, I can be friends with them, because the only way they're going to find Jesus is not me telling them they're headed to hell, more than likely. They're going to see it in my life. They want to see it in your life. And so he gives them this way. And then when the land is subdued, in other words, when we've won the war, then you can go back. Then you can return to your side of the Jordan, to the land that you think is best for you and your family. There's a lot of conflict in our country. Would you agree? This is conflict resolution from God. There's a way forward. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Democrat or liberal or conservative or red or blue or green or pink or whatever. There is a way forward. But the way forward is when we say, God is my strength. I will arm myself with him. And I will treat you with respect because you're a person made in the image of God. You're a person for whom Christ died. You're a person that God loves you and wants to. Can you imagine this? This just blows my mind. God wants to spend eternity with some of us. And he wants to spend eternity with me. What an idea that he would do that. Because I know what's inside of me. And you know what's inside of you. And God says it doesn't. He says, I'm willing to die for you to heal that sin, to pay for that sin, for you to be my son and my daughter. There's never been a better time to talk to people about who God is, because they are just going nuts with fear and anguish. There was an article by a guy in the New York Times, and he wrote this. His daughter's going away to college, and he said, I wanted to tell her that it's going to be okay. I wanted to tell her that life's going to get better. I wanted to tell her that life can be beautiful, but I couldn't look her in the eye. And I couldn't tell her because it's a lie. Those words just crushed me. That's what it's come to. And the only one who can take us out of here, bring us to a new land, is God himself. So they went and they agreed to this. They said, Moses came up with a plan, and they say, okay, we will do this suggestion. No, do as God commands, as he says. There are human leaders, but the ultimate command and direction lies with God and God alone. And so, Moses gives the orders. He gives the orders. This is a copy of my dad's orders from World War II, where he was and what he did. When you get orders, what does that mean? You go where you're told, right? It's not the great suggestion. He went to, after Pearl Harbor, he went, he signed up, he volunteered, and then they said, here's where you got to be. And guess what? He went. My dad doesn't get involved with technology. He would never see this, but it's a well-known fact that one time he wasn't where he was supposed to be. He and a guy took a boat, and they went off of the ship on the boat to an island, and they had themselves a little party. And they were AWOL. They came back, and guess what happened? They didn't throw him a party. They didn't say, woohoo, Chester's back. They threw him in the brig. They arrested him. And then they bring him out before, 3 judges. And the other guy goes first. They call him up. And the guy says, well, I want to fight this. And they say, fine. You're going to go back to jail. You're going to stay in chains. We're going to, put you in handcuffs. And in 30, 60, 90 days, you will have a trial. You could get up to so many months in prison. My dad gets up and says, what happens if I plead guilty? He says, you pay $20 and we're done. My dad paid the $20. It was done. By the way, that's not on this record, by the way. It's orders. Orders, you go. Moses gives the orders, and they do it. And they said, the Gadites say, your servants will do what the Lord has said. We're going to do it. And we're going to go, but when it's all done, we're coming back. That's the deal. It was a very simple deal. They agreed to do it. They said, God's word, not Moses or anyone else. We're going to do it. You see, sometimes we get choices. We get choices. We say, am I settling for something less? Or is there a time to choose something different? You may think, oh, I've just got to settle for what the current thing is. Maybe there's something better. Maybe God says there's a better way forward. Maybe you've read, there was a book by Bruce Wilkinson and David Kopp called The Prayer of Jabez. Anybody ever hear of it? Here is the prayer. This is it, right here. That's all. This is what all the excitement is about. What did Jabez do? Well, the first thing he did was he cried out to God. It all starts here. when George was talking about prayer, he said what? What's the prayer start with? Our Father. It's a crying out to God. He cries out, oh, that you would bless me. And most American Christians have a period here, right? Oh, I'm looking for the blessing. And I'm not against the blessing, but there's a whole lot of baggage and other stuff that goes along with it. He says, oh, that you would enlarge my territory. It says, God, you've given me this. If you would be kind, could you make it bigger? Not that I would make it bigger, but who's making it bigger? God's making it bigger. You would make it, enlarge it, and that your hand would be where? Upside my head? No, your hand would be with me. God, that you would be comforting me. God, that you would, heal me. God, that you would touch my hand, my head, my heart, and that you would keep me from harm. This is a good prayer. But it doesn't stop. He says, God, I'm asking you all of these things. Why? That I will be free from pain. Yes?
So, this is enlarge my territory. Does that mean physical territory?
What could it be?
I always thought, well, as a Christian, when you pray that people I touch, that would be my territory.
Yeah. You see, for him, his territory was where he took his flocks, because they had cattle or goats and sheep. So he had so much territory. Your territory might be where you work. Your territory might be the neighborhood you live in. Your territory might be the people that you square dance with. Who knows where your territory is, but God has given you a territory, and he says, may God, would you enlarge my territory? God enlarged my territory yesterday, of all things. I got a call from a friend. She's at the seafood market in Lake Wales. There's only one of them, okay? She's there, and she has found a guy. I had dropped off some of my Hope is Like Steamed Crab books there. He took them, and he gave them to everybody in his Bible study. And now he doesn't have one because he gave them all away. His name is Joel, okay? Big guy. Did I say he's a big guy? When I say big guy, he's a big guy. And he said, Joel needs a book. I said, okay. So I went over there and I met him, and he's like, you're the first person who's ever spoken redneck that I understand. He says, I'm just a redneck, and I, born in the country, here in Central Florida, and for the first time I've read something I understand. And the people in my Bible study understand. I was like, brother, I shook his hand and says, you're my brother. If God can enlarge a territory to a redneck, he can do anything. He can do anything. Enlarge it. So he would be, Jabez says, so I would be free from pain. You may not know this, but what's his name? What's this guy's name? Jabez. What's Jabez mean? Pain. His name means pain. In the verse before this, it says that his mother brought him birth through pain. We don't know exactly what that meant, but if I was pushing a baby out, I'd be in some pain. She might have had a tough delivery. Maybe she was a single mother. We don't know. But whatever it was, the birth, the childhood was painful. And so she named him Pain. God That's my inheritance. My inheritance, my name is pain. Can you make me free from that? He says, oh, that your hand, that you would do it. And the end game is free from pain. So how do we move forward? How do we know what to do? How do we know what to pray? You listen to George. It was great about prayer. And it starts out with the idea that we love God, love the Lord our God, just a little bit, right? Just on the edges. With our heart, our soul, strength, and our mind. All of it. All of it. Everything we've got. That is the starting point that says, from this point forward, I'm going to be that kind of person who says accept, because the Lord is my God. Because I am choosing Him and Him alone. And so when you're wondering, is this the right thing to do? You say, is this a way that I can show love towards God with my heart, my whole soul, my whole strength, my whole mind? And then it doesn't end there. Because then I have, you and I bump into people every once in a while, don't we? I took my dad's taxes in this week. I love doing taxes. Just like I like sticking my finger in my eye because it feels so good when I stop. I've taken my taxes in, and, the first time I tried to drop them off, they're closed. At 12:14 in the afternoon, they're closed. You know why? Because they close for lunch. Who closes for lunch anymore? These people do. Okay. So I go and I come back. And I come back, and they're open this time. Life is good. There's a person in front of me. I wait in line, give them space. I got my mask on. Life is good. The person leaves. I am called up. I say, and I'm here to give, ring. Their phone goes off. You'll never guess what they did. You'll never guess what they did. No, they didn't even say, wait, please. They just turned, answered the phone, and I was like on the other side of the known universe. They physically turned away and and I was just standing there. How do you think I felt? I felt insignificant. Good word. I felt insignificant. I felt disrespected. I felt, don't you know who I am? I'm a customer. And I'm here. What you're telling me is somebody on a digital line somewhere, a disembodied voice out in the wilderness, is more important than me. So do I get, my choice is, how should I treat her when she gets off the phone? Oh. Is that treating her like I want to be treated? No. Now, she could have done a better job, and I wanted to tell her. I wanted to give her a seminar on what to do, because I really know what to do. But how do I treat her like I want to be treated? Jesus says, love your neighbor as yourself. Treat them just like you want to be treated. I went to Walmart. I know that's a surprise. I went to Walmart, and I got a head of cabbage because I wanted to make coleslaw from scratch. I like coleslaw. And I also had a ham bone. I wanted to cook some of the cabbage, and I'm going on with details you don't care about, but that's okay. I'm up here talking. I get to say what I want. So anyway, I got a head of cabbage, right? And it looked pretty good. I took it home. I cut off the end. It's black. And it's slimy. I thought, well, maybe it's just a small, imperfection in this one little piece. So I cut off another piece. And finally, I disembowel the head of cabbage, and it's black and slimy and gooey all through it. And I thought, now this might be good for Marianne's compost, and the worms might really get a kick out of this, but there's nothing I can do with this. So I take it back. A head of cabbage, right? A head of cabbage. So I take it back, and I got it in the bag, because the people who greet you at Walmart, so, okay. And I'm on first name basis because they see me 2-3 times a day. So I go to the customer service, and I wait, and I say, this head of cabbage is bad. And I open it up, and she says those immortal words, those 3 words that the whole world is longing to hear. Where's the receipt? And I said, I don't have it. I'm thinking, a head of cabbage. This is going to be simple, right? Easy. Go get another one. God bless, right? No. I don't have a receipt. Did you pay with a credit card? Yes, I did. So I get it. Well, the reader doesn't work, so we now got to go to another register. And she's, I don't see it. And I said, excuse me? He said, I don't see where you bought this head of cabbage. There's a part of me, because of my classical training. I went to classical schools. We were taught the classics, the great. I was raised on the Three Stooges. I wanted to take that head of cabbage. There was a thought up here that said, I know what to do with this head of cabbage, right? It's like a pie or something. No. I said, okay, you can keep the cabbage. I went and bought another one. I checked this one. But I thought, how do I want to be treated? I blew it both times because in my head, treating those people nicely wasn't at the top of my priority list. And maybe it's not with you. Christianity is really the only religion, the Judeo-Christian thought is the only religion in the world that says treat your neighbor like yourself. Did you know that? No. It is. You ever hear this one? Oh, all religions are the same. A lie. Total nonsense. In the Quran, which is the Muslims, they say, you're not forbidden from doing good. Does that tell you to do good? No. And it also says, for non-Muslims, Allah only forbids you respecting those who made war on you. In other words, you hate your enemy. What did Jesus say to do to your enemy? Love them. Buddha, nah, it's all different. Buddha says right now, where you're living, you have any thoughts, you're living life, it's a dream. The Middle Eastern says it's a dream. You're trapped in a cycle of dying and being resurrected, being reincarnated. You're going to screw up. You're going to go down. You're going to get reborn. I was like, that doesn't sound like salvation to me. That sounds like work. That sounds awful. Jesus says, love God, love your neighbor. Live like you want to be lived. Treat them like you want to be treated. And Jesus, he dies the death that we couldn't die to pay for this, because we're all in debt. We're in this debt with God. He died once for all. One time for all sin, one time for every person. The whole weight of all the evil from all history was on Jesus. No wonder he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? He did that for you. He did that for the person who sold you that thing that didn't quite work. He died for all of us. And now where do we go with this? Here's a scene from Jesus of Nazareth where Jesus interacts with his disciples.
O Lord, stay with us. For the night is falling, and the day is almost over. Don't be afraid. I am with you every day till the end of time.
If there are any words we need to hear right now, it's what? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And that's why we can live without fear. He is with us. And he is with us in such a way that he'll never leave. My mom died almost 2 years ago, and I miss her. She left. My brother died 6 years ago. He left. There is not another person on the planet that is not going to leave. At one point in time, all of us, out of all of us here, only one of us is going to be left. God says, I will never, ever, ever, never, ever, never leave you. I am with you till the end of time. So why be afraid? Think about the things that just drive you crazy, the fear, the anxiety. And I don't know what button that is for you. But no matter what button that is, no matter what anger, fear, frustration, disappointment it is, God says, where is he? I am with you. And it doesn't matter what it was. It doesn't matter who it was. I am with you till the end. And he can say that because when he died, he didn't stay there, did he? He rose from the dead. He lives, and he lives. He lives. Christ Jesus lives today. He walks with me. He talks with me along life's narrow way. He lives. He lives. Salvation to impart. You ask me how I know he lives? He lives within my heart. He lives. Jesus has a resurrected life so that we can have an empowered life. Not a perfect life, an empowered life so he can use us for his purposes and glory and for the good of other people. You know, it's really hard to do good for other people when you don't treat them like you treat yourself. Think about that for a moment. You want to do good for other people? Then you're trying to treat them the same way you want to be treated. So in this crazy mixed up world that I don't know if it's ever going to get any better. I don't have any good news like that. But the good news I do have is God is with us. Always. Now and forever. And we can hold on to that. And he, more than us holding on to him, he holds on to you. I just love that picture in the Bible, in the words, where Jesus invites the little children to come. Remember, what did the disciples say? Nah, keep them away. But what did Jesus do? He welcomed them, and then what did he do? He loved on them, and he embraced them. The word picture is that he anchored them. in his arms. I don't know if you've ever spent any time in a boat, but an anchor is not a piece of straight metal, is it? It's got to bend. That's what Jesus did to those children. He didn't stick his arms out like this. No, he anchored them. He anchored them. And God has anchored you in Jesus. He has put his arms out. He has bent his arms around you. He is holding you tight. And he will never let you go. So how can we do anything else other than to respond in love to our God and the people around us? Our Father and our God, I thank you that you have anchored us, and our anchor holds because you are our anchor. Oh God, we thank you that there is forgiveness and restoration from when we just want to pull away. But thank you that your arms reach out to us and hold us dear. And in that, we leave rejoicing, but also recommitted to living for you this week. Let us be people who are anchored. Let us be people who are exceptional for you. In the matchless name of Jesus, amen. Well, you are loved very much. It's so glad to have you back. Some of you have been away, and you're loved. It's great to see you. You have a great week. Bye. Thank you, guys.